House.
Getting money, borrowing.
We got loads of small business smarties in the House now, but first we have to turn to Congressman Scott Garrett, Republican from New Jersey, my home state. His reaction to the stimulus bill. I know you were against the original TARP.
Right.
I know the TARP. The TARP. Well,
that.
TARP 1, TARP 2.
Exactly. You're against all of it.
Down the road, everything.
This, I'm sure now, you're feeling it again. Is there anything about it you like?
Well, I was going to say I was very happy that the entire Republican conference came out against this TARP, or against this so-called stimulus plan about a week ago. And, you know, the president was saying he was looking for bipartisan action. And, of course, as you know, in the House, there was bipartisan action. Both Republicans and Democrats came together and said no to it. We had about almost a dozen Democrats who said no. But when it goes over to the Senate's always obviously handles things different. And as we speak right now, it looks like 2 or maybe 3 Republican senators may have cut a deal, but I still hold out a hope. I still remain optimistic that they are able to unify with our party and say no to this.
Congressman, you want something altogether different than what has been put together. What you want, there's no hope on this planet. There's no hope on this planet that you get what you want.
Well,
no offense.
Remember what happened?
I would vote for it because you're asking for a decrease in corporate tax, a 5% decrease in individual tax, and no penalties and interest on IRA distributions. Right. I mean, 3 things that would make a huge difference.
Everybody, remember what happened in November. We heard that we're going to get change and we're going to get hope. So I still hold on to that hope, and I'm still holding on to that there may be change. To say that what President Obama said just the other night to his Democratic retreat, that stimulus is all about spending, spending, spending. Well, no. That's what we've been doing. Both the Republicans were in charge and the Democrats were in charge. So if you really want to have fundamental change in Washington, D.C., what do you have to do? Go in a totally different direction, not spend so much, not go into debt. Just probably like all the experts will say is for the homeowners out there, if you're in a hole, stop digging, stop spending, try to be a little bit fiscal prudent, and that's what Congress should be doing. That's what Washington should be doing.
So what are you doing then? Are you going to try to take this somewhere, your bill?
Well, sure.
Your proposal, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not a done deal yet. I try to remain optimistic that you know, it doesn't pass still. I mean, we're sitting here now and the vote hasn't been taken. There's a deal, they say, as far as the size, but you know, deals are only true fruition once the vote comes down. If it does pass, then we go on to the next thing. And the next thing will probably be the next discussion, and that is we start out talking about TARP 1, TARP 2, and that'll be going on to the next expenditure.
So what do people do?
What do you know about what Treasury Secretary Geithner is going to say Monday? Yeah. What do you expect him to say? What do you want him to say?
What I'd like him to say is that we need to take a step back on all these programs that have already been out there that have created so much uncertainty in the marketplace. You know, I was just on the street just a couple days ago, and one of the messages from so many investors out there is, look, now is not the time to invest in a lot of ways because we don't know what the rules are going to be. We don't know what the rules are going to be with this spending package because the spending package that we're talking about here is picking winners and losers, and we don't know what the package is going to be with regard to going forward with TARP 3 and anything else that the Federal Reserve does. As long as Washington is involved with picking winners and losers, the trillions of dollars that is sitting on the sidelines is going to remain sitting on the sidelines because who wants to invest your money if you don't know what the rules are?
And the way that it sounds like that this plan, this financial rescue plan is going to come out, it's not going to be the big bad bank or big good bank, rather, to buy bad assets. It's not going to be the one. It's going to be other ways to help dispose of some of these toxic assets, maybe using one of the Federal Reserve programs. There's going to be more capital injections. There's going to be mortgage rescues. But again, maybe guarantees of some of these assets is murky.
Isn't that so ironic? Because if you remember, if you go back to Secretary Paulson, when he said he had the solution, which is basically buying up toxic assets, which is just a variation of the bad bank idea, some threw out the idea, well, maybe you need to instead do an insurance-type plan instead. And he said, no, that will never work. Well, 5 months later, now they're going back to revisiting one of those ideas that was thrown out five months ago.
But, sir, what do we do? I mean, we're looking at a picture of the Senate floor right now. They're discussing The polls have showed that the people like us, are all against this. We were against the TARP, but yet they voted for it anyway. We're against this. What do we do? I mean, how do we voice our opinion? You know, we vote for these people down in D.C. They're supposed to represent us, and yet nobody seems to care what we
And
think.
these are both parties, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
The switchboards on the Republican, I'm Republican. I mean, the switchboards of the 3 Republicans who are saying that they cut a deal should be lighting up right now. Even though it's Saturday and Sunday and Monday, those switchboards should be lighting up with people from people calling in and saying, this is not the solution. I think the number was something like, what was around 49% of the American taxpayers, public, think that the solution is tax cuts, basically letting us keep more and more money. Those 49% should be calling up. And the other number was in the 20s or 30s. I think there's some variation of that. Those 20 or 30%.
President Bush didn't just cut taxes, because there was so much spending under the Bush administration. You would have to include the Medicare prescription drug program as spending stimulus.
I voted no.
I know, that's why I asked you that. But before we credit the economic turnaround, the earlier part of this decade, for just on tax cuts, there was massive amounts of spending in addition to that.
Yeah, and those spendings is what caused part of the problem where we are right now. Those spending in the past and the spending what we're going to do right now, and next week we're going to do a CR, which is a continuing resolution for this budget year they're in right now, is going to put us in a situation where basically, if we want to take any other draconian action in the future, we may not be in a fiscal position to do so.
All right, Congressman Garrett will stay with us, right, Trace? The whole
Yes,
hour?
and he'll be here to help answer your questions. And we're going to add our all-star panel here. We have Danny Babb, author of The Accidental Landlord. John Rutledge of Rutledge Capital Partners, who promises not to swear this week. And
what the hell? He does not promise.
There's a lawmaker in the House.
Chairman of the Financial Advisory Board, Scott Case, and Sal Piazzolla. He is president and co-owner of skincare company S&G Hampton Sun. He's a great person to ask questions to about your small business, how he's managing in this economic environment.
And Danny and John are going to grill him about how he started his business.
Absolutely. And Danny is on Twitter, so you can log on to Twitter and send them a tweet at Fox Docs.
Okay. Let's get to,
with the V,
All right, let's get to an email from Bill, who's writing us from Texas. In an effort to create more jobs, why doesn't the stimulus package allocate resources to provide banks with guarantees for small business loans? Congressman, who wants to take that one first? Congressman, do you?
Well, we talked, as you said already, that the Fed has set up, almost 15 different programs out there to try to provide guarantees and what have you. And part of the overall problem, which is probably where this call is going from, is that the banks aren't lending. But the problem there is, as you sort of begin to dig down to it, is not so much that the banks don't want to, but it's the fact that their credit, the way they evaluate the people who they're lending to, their credit standards have gone up. So we can do all those things and add those other provisions, add the 16th program, I guess, by the Fed to do this sort of program. But at the end of the day, then the federal government is once again getting involved in an area where we were before, and that sort of brought us to the problem. That is to say, we will be encouraging the banks potentially to be lending to areas where they shouldn't have. That was a CRA, what have you. Now, the caller might be a great caller, and he should be maybe he should be checking around to his credit union or someplace else if his current bank is not lending.
You guys can tell him how to get a loan.
Let's ditch the entire concept that the government is going to have anything to do with this. Forget the government. They are not going to help you. They have their head up their ass. And what you need to do is
two curse words in less than 10 minutes.
Go jump on virginmoney.com. Find other people who want to invest in small businesses, keep it in the private sector, get the government out of it. And the Small Business Administration actually is still lending. They're lending through community banks and even the bigger banks if you have a FICO above 700. And start selling your assets. Start looking at things in your own home that you can get rid of. Do you have an extra car you don't need? Do you have some equity in your home at 7% interest? Pull some of that stuff out.
Sal, are you finding that you can still get money for your business?
Well, it's interesting because when I founded the company, I funded it myself, and where I got my money from was from my home. I went to
we need to tell people what Sal's business is.
Yes.
Tell them.
What's your company do, Sal?
Okay, we are a luxury high-end sun skincare and fragrance line company.
For luxury high-end women.
Men and women.
Men too. Excellent.
Men too.
He has awesome product.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank
a
you.
sunless tanning product, which is very healthy.
And tanning products for your body, for your face. We're teaching the consumer to tan, to be smart. their tanning. And
Do you took out a home equity line of credit? How did you finish? How did you fund the business initially? You borrowed against your home.
correct. Yep. My partner and I, we both did the same thing, and that's how we made the investment. We saw a void in the market in luxury sun product, and
You got any of your stuff with you?
well, yeah, I think we do.
Haul it out.
But he had a passion for his product. I mean, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? When you have that entrepreneurial passion, you're willing to risk what you have to make things work.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was very passionate. I had the vision, I had the idea, and it was up to me to make it happen and put it out there.
Let's get a call real quick, guys. On the phone is Mark, guys and lady. On the phone, Mark from California. Thanks for waiting, Mark. Mark, ask away.
Yeah, my question was about the stimulus package. That why are the politicians taking a long time to make a decision? I understand that it's a big decision to make, but it's not going to affect them. It's going to affect the taxpayers and how they're going to help.
You're worried about saving their butts? They're slow.
I mean,
They're not looking out for the rest of us.
could we argue that it's good that they've taken a step back and they're starting to analyze this thing, Congressman?
I would hope. I mean, President Obama said he wanted to move this thing so quickly. Think what we're talking about here. We're talking about $800+ billion, the largest expenditure in the history of the federal government at one time. To say that we're going to spend that in just a day or two or 3 or 4 days or even a week at this point in time is we wouldn't be doing our job. And as a matter of fact, I don't think we'd be doing our job if this bill comes to the floor next Monday or Tuesday. And didn't President Obama say that when he was running for office that he was going to have all the bills that he had before he signs them into law up on some web page someplace so you could all go to it and everybody could have their 2 cents on it before he signs it? I think he's already signed a couple bills when he never even did that. So here's a case where we're going to be spending $800 billion or more. And I think this caller would like to know that before he signs off on it or before I vote on it, that he could have his 2 cents and see what the actual bill is. And
Your 2 cents?
We talk about this. We talk about this during the week. Economics is my day job. This whole stimulus bill is a pile of crap. It is not a good idea. You're appropriating $1 trillion out of people's pockets and spending it in the way somebody in Washington decides to spend it. It's a terrible idea. So if we could kill it, I would love to kill it. I fear it will pass. But the fact is, and the reason we're here this whole hour, is that don't wait for the government to save you. Don't wait for somebody to come along and offer you a job or somebody to say, please work for me. Get off the butt. Get out there and start a company. Even if you start a company with one person doing one thing part-time, you can make a little money. Like Danny says, look in the closet, find an old PC, sell it, use that money for working capital. So this is about the blue flame coming out of your butt. This is not about waiting around for a government solution.
Well, that was a nice segue to the break. It's about small business. It's about starting your own business. Call us, 877-249-9626. When we come back, live from the Senate floor.
So guess what? I have to put aside my ego, and I have to work with my colleagues, and again I want
Monday, Obama responds to the nation's questions. So what impact will his answers have on lawmakers and his economic plan? David previews the president's first official press conference. Don't miss this special scoreboard, only on Fox Business.
Attention! Gold prices are near all-time highs. It's your time to cash in and get more for your gold. Since 1960, Gold for More has been paying more for gold than anyone else. More cash for your gold jewelry, necklaces and bracelets, even gold watches and rings. No matter how broken, beat up or old, if it's gold, it's sold.
It's true. I got $600 for my old gold. All I did was send in some of my broken jewelry, and I got the cash.
Call or click now and we'll send you free of charge our secure gold package. Then place your unwanted gold jewelry in the insured shipping envelope and mail it back to Gold for More. Even the return postage is free. And 24 hours after receiving your package, we'll send you more for your gold. Need the cash right away? Just let us know and we'll instantly direct deposit the cash right into your bank account free. If you're not totally satisfied with the payment offered, your valuables will be returned to you free. Get more for your gold from Gold for More. Call or log on at gold4more.com now.
Sunday, reinventing the music biz. How is this industry moving and making money? And will it be music to investors' ears? We get answers. Watch only the best on Money for Breakfast Weekend.
Your question's your money, and if you want to take your money to start a business, that's what we're here to answer. Let's get to an email. Steve writes, how do I know what businesses will survive in this economy? John, you're busy.
I'm doing technology, man. I'm doing technology.
Doing deals. Dan, how do you know?
Yeah, well,
that's a critical question.
It is. It's a very critical question. Okay, first of all, we know that when you take your business online, you can expand your reach beyond the United States. Obviously, you have a global market immediately. So that's the very first thing you should always consider doing, even if you have a brick-and-mortar store. The second thing is there are certain areas that are still doing very well. The service sector. People are looking for deals. You could simply create a website that offers coupons where you're getting a kickback for every time a product is sold, for example. So do your homework. First of all, though, find out what you are passionate about, and then figure out how to, or what you need, like in the case of maybe spot remover, in John's case. Figure out what it is that you love to do, and then go out and do a little bit of market research, just a little bit, and then just go for it. And the best,
in a market where the banks are closed, you need to do things that don't use capital. You don't have working capital. Most people think
Give me an idea.
Most people think Bill Gates is going to show up and give you venture capital. It don't happen that way. You sell a used car, you get $2,000, you go in your garage and you start something. Sal, what did you start with? What was your bankroll or your working capital?
Well, it all started with the idea. You have to come up with an idea, and you have to believe in your product. And I have to take a step back, because I worked for the Port Authority, and I did 21 years with the Port Authority, and I felt...
They let you out for good behavior, or...?
Let me off on good behavior.
Yeah.
But I just always had that creativity and wanted to do more and apply myself and do something different and come out with my own product. And so the last few years of working for the Port, I kind of did all my homework and investigation, and I felt that the market
you can
was
work
really
while you're working for somebody else.
But that's a great point. You know, you have a job, especially people called in earlier, said, I'm not sure I'm going to keep my job. That's when you start thinking about plan B.
Absolutely.
This is an interesting story, though.
But people criticize government workers and government jobs, but before
I got off my butt, I believed in my product, and I went for it. It was very difficult. It's not easy starting your own company, and like we were talking about financing.
How many bucks did you have in your pocket when you started?
I didn't have a whole lot. I had some dollars, but, you know, the bulk of the money came from my home, and I took the gamble. I took the risk.
All right.
One thing I want to bring you in here, though. Do you worry that this spirit, is it still alive? Will it stay alive even through these tough times? The spirit of just going out and doing your own thing in this country.
I think the spirit will always be alive, because that's what America is all about. But I was going to answer your first question as to, you know, which companies will survive. The cynical answer, of course, to that, which I'm a little bit cynical, is the industries that have the best lobbyists in Washington. And so if you're trying to say where you're going to invest or what have you, just read the Wall Street Journal, read some of the OpenSecrets.com or what have you, and you see the industries that are doing best with the bailouts, the industries that are doing best right now are the ones that are, you know, have the huge best lobbyists down in D.C. Fortunately, in your case, you didn't need a lobbyist. You were able to just take either a mortgage out of your house or something like that to come up with the money, and that's really
that was just sad.
But the upside is, in situations like this, a lot of times the innovators, this is when the innovators come out. So keep your questions coming. Call us at 877-249-9626, or you can email us at feedback@foxbusiness.com. We got small business pros here for you. We'll be right back.
Sandals Luxury Included Resorts now include a once-in-a-lifetime offer. Book now, save up to 55%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-SANDALS.
Life can be frustrating, but doing taxes doesn't have to be. E-File. Learn more at irs.gov.
President Obama answers tough questions on the economy as he takes the podium for his first formal press conference. Monday, David Asman hosts Fox Business.
In celebration of Black History Month, HBO and Time Warner Cable present the premiere screening of the HBO documentary film, The Blacklist, Volume 2, featuring candid interviews with prominent African Americans at the legendary Apollo Theater on Tuesday, February 24th. This special screening is exclusive to Time Warner Cable customers. Log on to twcnyc.com to learn how you can receive complimentary tickets.
I I'm tired of her looking down at us like we didn't live in the same neighborhood.
This is your sister. We know y'all gonna start acting like it.
When a family becomes divided.
I thought you were gonna turn the company over to me.
Why on earth would you think that?
Because I'm your son.
It takes love, honesty.
Are you